Alright, this is going to be a very brief video. We're going to finish up 8.2. This is going to kind of be a combination of what we learned so far in the first two sections. Now, for the objective, you can take down these two steps. Number one, as soon as you see parentheses, there's a number on the outside, you want to distribute. You want to get rid of those parentheses. But now, we're going to combine like terms. Where in the first video, after you distributed, there weren't any like terms, so you were done. So now, it's going to take another step. We're just going to do 1 and 2. Let's see here. So if I do number 1, actually 1 and 2, you can see there are two sets of parentheses. And if you look at number 1, this negative 4x squared plus 5x, you can't combine those. They're not like terms. So in order to get rid of the parentheses, we have to distribute first. And I'm going to have to distribute twice because I want to get rid of both sets of parentheses. So number 1, I'm going to distribute this 2x. So let's see here. 2x times that negative 4x squared, that gives me negative 8x cubed. Right? I'm multiplying the numbers and I'm adding the exponents for the variable. Then if I have 2x times 5x, well 2 times 5 is 10, it's a positive, and x times x is x squared. So just like that I get rid of the parentheses. Now to get rid of this 2x squared plus 20, I have to distribute, don't forget the negative before the 5, I'm going to distribute negative 5. Don't forget the negative. It's a common mistake. So let's see here, negative 5 times 2x squared is negative 10x squared. Oops, make that squared. And then negative 5 times 20, that's going to give me a negative. Negative 5 times 20 is going to give me negative 100. So I'll put a little check mark. I distributed. Now I want to do this. I'm going to combine like terms. Well, if I look at the first term, negative 8x cubed, there's no other x cubes, so I leave that in the final answer, negative 8x cubed. Cross it out. Then these are the two like terms. If you have 10x squared and then minus 10x squared, that gives you 0x squared. It cancels out. It goes away. So just cross that out. Then the minus 100, there's no other constants, so I just bring that down. And I can't combine negative x cubed and minus 100, so that's it. That's my answer. Okay, let's do number 2. Number 2, you should see right away, we're going to distribute 3 to the first trinomial. Then we're going to distribute negative x to that second trinomial. So again, let's distribute. So let's see here, 3 times 5 is 15. And then the x squared, we just bring that down. 3 times 2x is going to give us 6x. And then 3 times this negative 4, 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Okay, then I want to get rid of the last trinomial in the parentheses, so I'm going to distribute negative x. Okay, negative x times positive 7x squared, that's still going to give me a negative. And then x times 7x squared is 7x cubed. Okay, I'm going to try to squeeze this in here. Then let's see here, negative x times positive 2x is going to give me negative 2x squared. And then negative x times negative 3, you're multiplying two negatives there. So it's got to switch, it's got to change to positive. And negative x times negative 3 is positive 3x. Let's squeeze that in there. Can we make it? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so again, I did this, little check mark, I distributed. Now let's combine our like terms. Okay, let's look at the biggest exponent. The biggest exponent we have here is 3. Negative 7x cubed, just like number 1, there's no other x cubes, so I write that out first. So I'm done with that. Let's look at all the x squareds. I have 15x squared, and I have negative 2x squared. Don't forget the negative before it. So 15 minus 2 is positive 13, so I have positive 13x squared. So I get rid of that. Then let's look at all our x's. I have positive 6x, and that's a positive 3x. 6x plus 3x gives me 9x. So I'm done with this. And then the only constant I have is this negative 12. There's no other constant, so I just drop that down, and it's just minus 12. And now all these, they're unlike terms, so I ended up with 4 terms as the answer. Negative 7x cubed plus 13x squared plus 9x minus 12. Okay, so this, it takes us a little bit more work, but you're going to do two things. You're going to distribute, and then you're going to combine like terms.